Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. I am still Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. It is still in the description below. It is still your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing one of the most extraordinary watches I have ever encountered on this channel. Never cataloged, never featured on the website, a 5-piece limited edition for 2023. This is the Parmigiani Fleurier Tonda PF split-second chronograph in platinum with a media-blasted platinum dial with salmon coloration, pulsometer scale, and of course, the rattrapant system. This is a spectacular watch that pushes the limits of what's possible with luxury watchmaking. It is the luxury watch of your dreams and mine, and I've taken the unusual step of opening up the bracelet so you can more easily see the case back of this monster machine. Now, it's not monster in size. I'd say it's more full size, although it's assuredly well over 300 grams and truly massive. Dimensionally, it's 42 millimeters in diameter, 15.2 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 47.5 millimeters, and then from end link to end link, the total rigid horizontal distance across the wrist is 53.3 millimeters. I'm going to throw this watch on my wrist of 16 centimeters circumference now so you get a good look at it. The watch is quite wearable. It has a sort of camber to it because of those tapered and curved Tonda-style stepped lugs. It almost wears like a tonneau watch when it's on the wrist. Of course, this integrated bracelet is how Parmigiani does the integrated bracelet sports watch genre, and this is a sports watch. Though not super thin, it does have a sloped bezel and a stepped case flank, so it should fit under most sleeves, including just about all of dress jacket cuffs. Taking a look on the wrist from over the top, the cuff shot, and down the barrel, I can confidently recommend this watch, which has superb ergonomics for a wrist of 15 centimeters circumference or larger, but be warned, it is massive. Taking a look at the bracelet, you can see it mates handsomely and seamlessly with the case flank. So we have a downward taper of the lugs, and then you can see they also thin out as we move away from the case. And in both cases, the bracelet matches that progressive tapering from the side and from the top. You can see we have satin and polish, and then we have a little bit of a diminishing width tapering down toward the primary links. And as we do taper down, you can see that there's a slope to the flanking links, but there's also a little satin segment that diminishes until it gradually disappears. Attention to detail is superb. You can see that there's a little bit of a bevel on the edge of these links too. So the attention to detail inside and out on this watch is absolutely outstanding. Now, there are removable links, actually quite a few of them. And as you can see, they're fixed in place using screws, which makes it easy to open up the bracelet here. But it also means that if you have a jeweler's screwdriver, you'll have no trouble whatsoever sizing this at home. Now, on the underside, you can see that there are plenty of gaps between the links to avoid pinching skin, pulling hair, or trapping wrist heat. And then we'll move over to the clasp, which is a double folding clasp. You can see Parmigiani Fleurier in polish and media blast. So we have triple finishing here. On this link, we have satination, we have media blast, and we have polish. Again, double folding clasp. Take a quick look inside. As with many folding clasps on platinum watches, white gold has been employed for the swing arms and the chassis, as white gold is harder than platinum notably, but also harder than yellow and rose gold. So for mechanical parts like this that are functional and hinged, oftentimes you will have white gold on a platinum watch. It's a double fold. You can see this side folds before this side, so it's a sequential close. We have a twin trigger release right here, which makes it possible to release when you press both, but one by itself is not enough, so this is really quite secure when it's on the wrist. It's also got 100-meter water resistance, so it's solid on the wrist, full bracelet, very swimmable, absolutely a sports watch. Parmigiani, a fully integrated manufacturer. They have cadrance et habillage, the dial and hand maker, Les Artisans Boîtiers, making cases, bracelets, and clasp components. Etacalpa, which makes wheels and small parts for movements, Vaucher manufacturer, which is the movement factory, all of that under the main brand Parmigiani Fleurier. So less vertical than sort of a cottage industry of independent companies that are integrated under one Parmigiani brand. And those little mini cottage businesses, some of them are actually quite large, like Vaucher, they add up those parts within Parmigiani's little group, and this watch is the result. Now you can see we have a coaxial split-second trigger that's on the crown. 1 second's hand is blue, that's the split hand. The other is polished. You can see that we have little chronograph pusher profiles that match the curvature and shape of the Tonda lugs. We have a nice sharp knurling on the crown that makes it easy to grip. And then we have a slight vertical lip to the bezel. There's a sort of engine-turned fluting, and then another very steep conical profile. And you can see in profile, the case itself is satinated, though the lug tops and the bevels right around the side, those are polished. So the attention to detail is excellent. Now the dial, though colored salmon, it is made of media blasted platinum. The indices, the hands, as well as the frame for the date are rhodium plated white gold. Chronograph minutes, split seconds, and hours feature blued hands. We have sunken registers. We also have running seconds. Down at the bottom, we have skeletonized alpha style hands, although Parmigiani has in the past called these delta style. Now the watch does include some of the basic refinements you'd expect, including a hacking seconds function. Now it's active. And there is a quick set for that double-digit date. You can also appreciate the vintage font used with heavy serifs, open 6s and 9s. Now, the scale, it's a pulsometric scale. So what you do is, we're going to stop everything, reset, restart. Well, you're holding the patient's wrist or neck to count pulses. Count 30 pulses, and when you hit 30, you're going to stop the chronograph, so that would be 200 beats per minute. So that's how that works. That's the pulsometric scale. This is a great mechanism for gauging waxing and waning intervals, such as race cars around a course or runners around a track. Now, when you turn this watch over, brace yourself, because this is where things get crazy. If you remember the 2016 Parmigiani Tonda Chronor Anniversaire, that's exactly the movement we've got right here, but in a more versatile sports watch package. You can see 1 of 5, and this is the caliber PF9161. This movement has everything. So you could see it is made of rose gold bridges and plates, just like an FP Journe. Unlike an FP Journe, it is exquisitely hand-finished. A wonderful, perfectly aligned satin brushing across the surfaces. You can see everything turning black as I angle. The watch is mirror-polished steel. Take a look at these bevels, all of them laid down and finished by hand. It's not just that they're broad, mirrored, and truly rounded, but look at all these interior angles. There are many Geneva hallmark movements that don't have one sharp interior angle where bevels meet in a sharp crease. This is one of the most demanding single arts in movement finishing. How many do we have here? Well, I got just under 50 before I stopped counting. This is beyond any Patek Philippe, beyond any Vacheron, Lange, or Audemars Piguet I have ever encountered. There are only a handful of watches that I've ever encountered that can even approach this level of finishing quality. All of them were extraordinary, legendary things, and this joins their ranks. You can see the signature of Michel Parmigiani on the barrel up there. And I imagine he would be quite pleased to place his signature on a movement like this. The tech specs are as impressive as the finishing. Full balance bridge and free sprung for shock resistance and precise adjustment. It is adjusted in 6 positions, pivots on 35 jewels. It has 2 column wheels right there and there, a little pincer style system at the center to grab and hold the split seconds hand, and it employs a vertical clutch. So not only does it have the crispness of column wheels, 2 in fact, but it has the smoothness of a vertical clutch, engaging without any jump or stagger. And because of the vertical clutch, you can leave it running on a full-time basis without any additional wear and tear, because a vertical clutch causes none. 65 hours of power reserve, and it beats away at a blazing 36,000 vibrations per hour, 10 beats per second, like a Zenith El Primero. And it is a sports watch architecture, again, because it's relatively thick, just over 8 millimeters, so they didn't try to make it thin at the cost of durability. And with a full balance bridge and a free sprung balance, you can see all the adjustment is done using masses on the balance wheel itself. This is both easy to adjust precisely and also more shock tolerant than if it were a mobile stud index. All of the screw heads are black polished with their slots and their circumference chamfered. You can see the steel parts of the chronograph are satinated on their top, beveled on their sides, and in some cases black polished on their tops. This is beyond belief. Look at that beveling. Look at those rose gold bridges and plates. Yes, Journe uses rose gold, but not finished like this. Journe uses gold as a check in the box to add opulence. This adds opulence, but then it goes beyond. Look at those interior creases. Look at those exterior points where bevels meet and sharp points. That's just as difficult to achieve as an interior angle, a product of a truly integrated manufacturer founded by a legendary watchmaker and restoration specialist. You will never, ever see another one like this. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. One more detail I want to give you. This is a 30.6 millimeter movement, so properly sized for a large watch and a large case pack. Again, 65 hours of power reserve, every feature and refinement of your dreams. That is Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing.